Here's on to a new state. The Arawa Consultative Forum has constituted a committee of experts to analyze the tax reform bills and develop appropriate recommendations for submission to relevant government bodies. The forum, in a statement by its National Publicity Secretary, Professor Tukur Muhammad Baba, highlighted concerns over inadequate consultations during the preparation of the bills. He noted that the National Economic Council, chaired by Vice President Kashim Shettima and other stakeholders, have raised significant objections. The ACF acknowledged the necessity of periodic public policy reforms to address emerging challenges and opportunities. The ACF acknowledged the necessity of periodic reforms to also, while stressing the reforms would affect every citizens and regions, making broad consultations indispensable. Joining us to discuss the forum's decision to raise a committee to study bills on tax reforms and the need for more consultations, as well as build a consensus around the bills, is Arise News analyst Dayo Sobowale. Good to have you with us as always.
It's a pleasure being here as usual.
All right, so what do you...
Great to see you, Mr. Sobowale.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
Indeed.
Nice to meet you again.
So, Mr. Sobowale, what do you think are the contentious or grey areas of the proposed tax bill that a particular region of Nigeria is not comfortable with? And if we can also look at the timing of this the raising of objections, or rather of this committee they're raising over this issue.
It's how do I put it now? It's a sharing of the cake problem. It's economic at the root, but the agitation against it is political. Political, ethno-religious, literally. You see, the North has always had the bigger share of the cake in terms of politics, in terms of revenue allocation. And it takes a brave executive president to try and readjust things so that they can even out. Hitherto, they were using population to allocate things, and then equality maybe on derivation now. You see, this proposal reduce that on population, reduce that on equality, and raise that of derivation. That is the crux of the matter. You see, if you have a lopsided distribution system, it will always favor some people. Those that the arrangement favors will not want the status quo to change. This is what is happening. But this president has been brave enough to put it to the table. And you see, hitherto, his bills have always swept through. But this time around, you see, some people feel that they are being seized by the jugular. But you see, I said this here before, I think it will sail through. The president probably thinks it will be a sprint, but it's turning into a marathon now. I don't think it will be a marathon, maybe a 100-meter situation, but it will be resolved because this is a federation, and we have many ethnic groups, we have many regional divisions, but we must learn to live together. You get me? And you see, at the end of the day, it is a separation of power issue and a democracy issue too. They say the minority must have a say, let them have it abundantly. But the majority will have a sway. That's democracy. Let's leave it at that for now.
Indeed.
Okay, over the past few, I think it has been up to some weeks now, several people have made various commentaries around the bills, and there's been a lot of discussion around it. Now, if I look at it from the perspective of some of those commentators from the northern, who represent sort of the northern school of thought, they're saying that on that derivation issue that you raised, they're saying that, yes, they're telling us that this is the opportunity for northern governors to invest more and build up their economies. But the debate is that Lagos State is a former capital city, and it gained from, a national budget investment to become what it is. So they're saying, can our states also not get some type of special investment before you leave us to focus on ourselves? What do you think of this this position that's being put forward?
There's no way you can rationalize what they are saying, because it's political. It's like taking your food. You used to this size of food before, but they say you have less of it. That is it. That's why I said, I know what I'm saying. I say it's a sharing of the cake issue. Get me? And you see, you must be realistic. I don't want to provoke people, but I tell you, look at the structure of our nation, demographically. People migrate from the north to the south. People migrate from the north to the south. People migrate to the coastal cities. You have ports, you have and things like that. And I said it here sometimes. If you go to the marketing companies, you know, the major ones, UAC, MBL, all these making food and things like that, look at their customer base. You have a fair idea of the distribution of the population of this country. See, we have had census. We have arid areas where people desert and come down south. They say those areas have more population than the places people are migrating to. It has to be redressed one way or the other. You see, I thought the last president was brave enough because he wanted to do a census. Do you get me? But then the election got it, and we had more problems. But because another confusion through currency instead of census. You see, the day that we do a very accurate census, our problems will be over in this country. We'll be able to plan with figures and data and statistics and make progress economically.
All right.
You got me? That's it.
You're right, Mr. Sobowale. But let's go way back, not too long ago. The previous government of the Buhari administration did propose, VAT increments and, of course, tariffs of various forms as well. But the Arewa wasn't too vocal then, and it led straight towards this. So, where do we draw the lines on politics when it comes to tax reform, bills? Or did this one actually hit them where, should we say it hurts the most, you think?
You see, this time around, I will commend Arewa. Look at their statement. They have said we should not politicize the issue and that we should not be abusing one another. For once, you see, that arrogance seems to have disappeared. They are appealing for caution in appraising what is on the table.
All right.
Because they know what it is. I think for once, they are being more patriotic and less localized in protecting northern interests. They have an open mind to read their statement. I commend them for that. And they know, you see, it is a federation. And in any situation, you want to have inclusion, fairness on the table so that all parts of the nation can have something to make them exist from the national cake. So I applaud the Arewa this time around. They have not shown the born to rule syndrome. They are talking like true Nigerians now. So when they do, let us commend.
All right, Mr. Sobowale, yes. And as a follow-up to the issue of inclusivity, as you've mentioned,
yes.
To a large extent, do you think whatever concession is being given here through engagements and through that committee that Arewa is proposing, do you think it'll defeat the main aim or the final outcome of this tax bill? You said it's going to, at some point, it'll have to be passed.
See,
but will it be passed in its current form ab initio?
I think it will be passed in its current form because it's very equitable. That is my own viewpoint. And we have to move away from having our head in the skies to being pragmatic. You get me? See, all these reforms we are going through, they are painful things, but they needed to have even been done in the past, a long time.
Yeah.
So you must commend this president. And anyway, it's domain now, in terms of separation of powers. If they don't do it, or if they put it in a different shape, different from it, which I doubt they can, you can veto it. The power is there. Or can use executive orders. But he wants to carry, he has always been a bridge builder. Has always been a bridger. And it's a pity, I have to remind him of the Muslim ticket again. it's sold at the campaign trail. This is the nitty-gritty of its workability. You get me? So as a politician, they will find their way around it. But at least for once, people cannot say our legislation is a rubber stamp. Legislation. Because it's a rubber, so let them debate it. That's the essence of politics. I'm enjoying it. But I assure you, it cannot be changed from the form in which it is. Because we have to be fair to each other. And this is federation. Yes.
What do you say for some of the unintended consequences? I always like to, try and analyze analyze for scenarios that very few people expect. Especially as some people are chiming in and saying, this is regionalism through the back door that is being implemented here. So what do you think will be some of the outcomes, the fallout, if this bill is to be passed?
This bill will be passed, I assure you. But you see, the unintended consequence is that people will now face reality. This statement by Arewa, this was not their initial reaction.
No, it wasn't, yeah.
So the unintended consequence is that people will now think in federal terms now, not regional terms, because we have moved away from regionalism. And then again, you see, it is the Arewa living in the past. Arewa means the north. There is no north anymore. There are about 19 states there.
Well,
not the single, zones, not the single, and we have the geopolitical something. See, there was a time Gawan, some people visited Gawan, and Gawan was telling them that they should think of Nigerians and include Nigerians in their northern caucus. But those people told him no, they are only interested in the unity of the North. They are living in the past. Get me? That's the concept behind behind Arewa. Get me? Just like Yorubas too had Odudua. But that was used to fight colonialism. That since this is integrated, then you have Afenifere. The present president is a product of Afenifere now. But the old Afenifere is stranded somewhere. They are not on the same page. And then you have the East, yes. Nigeria is made up of many ethnic groups. That's why when you talk of Nigeria unity, it does not fall down from the skies. It happens from the family, from your tribe. It's the love you have for your tribe that you can transfer to the nation state which you belong to. And we are all learning to live together and accommodate each other. So maybe the unintended consequence, it will make us come closer.
All right. I love that. Yeah. I love that. Very positive.
Mr. Dayo Sobowale, Arise News analyst, I'd like to thank you for your thoughts on those issues. Good to have you with us as always.
It's a pleasure.